I'm Alex Hayden, and we're here in Kansas for the second race of the round of 16. These drivers survived the track that's too tough to tame and now get a more straightforward event in the round of 16. This is the only 1.5-mile D-shaped oval in this round, giving drivers some familiarity. We're ready to get the cars rolling and the green flag in the air. So let's get the race underway. It's the Hollywood Casino 400.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, welcome to tonight's live stream, NASCAR 22 once again for the second straight night. And we'll be racing the Hollywood Casino 400 at the Kansas Speedway in tonight's race for race number 2 of 3 in the first round of the playoffs, round of 16. Of course, you can see the points on the top of the screen up above. Our driver, Kevin Harvick, still just over one race worth of points ahead of first, although we did not get any stage points in yesterday's Southern 500 at Darlington, and we only got one race point for our finish because we finished in dead last. We only got 1 point for that reason, as it's 1 point per position from 36th on up. Now, we need to have a good day today. We were very fortunate that there were a lot of other playoff drivers that had problems yesterday, so we only lost 10 points to the cutoff line. We went from 73 above to now just 63 above. We have a chance to actually lock our way into the next round based off of points without having to win today's race, but ideally I would like to just win. We will be starting last place once again, though, because there was no practice or qualifying for this one, or I should say no practice, therefore I didn't want to qualify start mid-pack. Same reason I started at the back last night. Last night I think it was the right move. I didn't have the fastest car anyway. Hopefully we have a decent car today. The first race at Kansas earlier this season, our driver Kevin Harvick ended up finishing in 9th place and scored 3 stage points throughout the race. I can't remember if we finished on the lead lap or not, but we did end up finishing 9th. Got a few stage points. Honestly, a day like that today I will take. Intermediate tracks are very difficult to win. I've had good finishes on a lot of them. Not at Darlington for whatever reason on both of the races that we have ran there. But other than that, though, we tend to at least get good finishes, so we'll hope for the best for that today. We'll take a look at the starting lineup. Again, it will be randomized due to the fact that this race did not actually have qualifying, so that's why you see Ty Dillon on the front row, and in fact on the pole for today's race. Brad Keselowski will start outside of the front row in second, Cody Ware third, Harrison Burton on the outside of Cody Ware in fourth in row number 2, BJ McLeod, William Byron in row 3. Byron, the highest qualifying driver that is in the playoffs. AJ Allmendinger, Kurt Busch will be back in row number 4, both non-playoff drivers, and then Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman, both playoff drivers in row 5. Christopher Bell won the first race of the round in the Southern 500 last night at Darlington, actually won the second stage and won the race, so he is locked into the next round of the playoffs. Still 15 drivers voting for another 11 spots. Joshua Rumsey, Hendrick fans, Matthew Dorter, Bruno, Jerry Fasnet, Wade Zielinski, and others welcome into the stream. 267 laps, 400 miles, and 80 laps in stage 1. The green flag is in the air. We're underway in the Hollywood Casino 400 at the Kansas Speedway. And our second playoff race is underway here in this one. Watch some major checkups going on pretty much anywhere on the track, but especially towards turn 3. Car's going to be very tight. I do have stability help on tonight, so we're probably not going to be very fast at the beginning of the race as a result. We'll see how this is all going to play out. Going down towards turn 1, getting squeezed by the 55 of J.J. Yaley on corner entry that time. Kevin Harvick all the way down on the bottom of the racetrack. Stays underneath Yaley off the exit of the corner. A lot of stacking up again on the back straightaway. It's going to cause for an awkward angle into turn 3 for Harvick. Underneath the 77 of Bilicki, Kyle Larson towards the tail end of the field. He did not have a good finish and did not get a lot of stage points in yesterday's race. Actually, I think he got 0 stage points. Bilicki just ran right in the side of Kevin Harvick, and that messed Harvick's corner entry up big time. Larson slides right up in front of the 77 of Bilicki. They almost have a problem. Harvick going 3 wide to the outside of the racetrack, entering into turn 3, and he scrapes the wall. That did not work out at all. Got passed by about 3 cars instead of passing a couple himself. Car's just too tight to run the outside. Not a slow enough racetrack that we're going to be shifting at all either. Maybe if we get extremely tight over the course of a long run, perhaps, but at least not early in the run. Yeah, car's way too tight on the outside. Kept it off the wall that time, but I don't think it was worth going up there. Ethan, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, tight battle on the cutoff line coming in. Indeed, couple cars almost into the wall on the outside. Really jockeying for position up there quite a bit. Harvick keeps his momentum up. I think he can catch these guys. Especially they keep battling side by side quite often with each other. It's really tight on corner entry, but once we get into the middle of the corner to the exit, the car actually handles pretty well. Harvick going to take the shortcut down to the apron through the tri-oval. Breaking away from Kaz Grala a little bit behind him. A big run off turn 2 for Harvick. The outside of Josh Bilicki. He's going to clear him, though, before they get into turn 3, so he's actually able to get the car back down to the bottom again. But it did not stick now that he's in dirty air and close enough to the pack of cars in front of him. He does stay in front of Bilicki, though, in 38. So definitely going to be a one-stop stage, I'd have to imagine. When to pit is going to be the question for Harvick. Probably going to end up short pitting, just like we did at Darlington in Stage 1 yesterday. We just got to hope it stays green today. At least we know for next season, Darlington, that will not be the case. That'll be next season. Robbie Dixon also welcome into the stream. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Harvick, one of the few drivers that have been racing pretty much my whole remembrance of watching NASCAR, I guess would be the best way to state it. I was alive before Harvick was in NASCAR in 2001, but in the Cup Series specifically in 2001. But I would have only been a few years old, so there's no way would have remembered even those very early races. But yeah, anytime any of those guys retire, it's another piece of my childhood missing. There's not too many more left, honestly. Caution's going to be out for the first time today in the middle of the stage, so Kevin Harvick going to pit here. He should be on the lead lap because he was in turns 1 and 2 when the caution waved. So it shouldn't be a lap down due to a scoring glitch, so this is going to be perfect for Harvick. Going to make a wedge adjustment here. Going to take about... Yeah, we're going to take a round and a half of wedge out of the race car. 4 tires and fuel will be the adjustment call for Harvick. He will be the only one on pit road. Now, he will not be able to make it to the end of the stage on fuel, but this is interesting. Not expecting a caution right then and there. But we got one, and now Harvick can go further than everybody else if he really wants to. And we'll see how he can get through traffic as well. Only lost 2 spots with pitting, as he was in 38th place, green flag back in the air. They get up to speed in turns 1 and 2. And make sure not to cause an accident. Harvick's probably only going to have about 10 lap pressure tires. I would expect it to be at least a little bit of a difference, though. Oh, trouble! Car around, and Harvick just gunned it to the inside and missed everybody. Garrett Smithley down in the grass in turns 1 and 2. No caution. I saw sparks flying like there was contact. Garrett Smithley got turned in the middle of turns 1 and 2, but there was no caution. And Kevin Harvick just narrowly missed him to the inside and passed about 3 or 4 cars in the process. I had our second caution of the day already. Harrison Burton should replace Harvick. That'd be interesting. I don't know how long Wood Brothers have a contract for Harrison Burton, though. I doubt when he signed it was a 3-year contract. It's quite a bit for a 19-year-old first-year driver, especially now. Harvick really not closing in quite like I would have thought he was going to on the back of the field, although he did get checked up having to miss that near wreck. Pretty much was a wreck, we just didn't get a caution for it. Garrett Smithley got turned. He's slowly closing in. I think John Hunter would be a good fit, take over for him. He's got Ford ties because his first year in the Cup Series was with Front Row too, so I'm sure they would let him back in. I think if he could have went down development-wise in the Truck Series, he would have went to Ford, but there wasn't really any Ford teams to go with, so that's why he ended up jumping ship and went to Toyota. And now Toyota, at least with KBM, no longer in the Truck Series because they're Chevrolet. I think that would probably work out for him. That'd probably be the most likely candidate. Because you got to figure if Eric Almirola retires too, Ryan Preece has already moved up to the Cup Series. You'd have to imagine maybe Custer would move up, but who else? Contact between Reddick and Logano. A lot of playoff drivers at the tail end of the field here. Harvick, Larson, Logano, Reddick. Reddick last in points of those 16 playoff drivers coming into this race today. I should replace Harvick. As cool as that sounds, I'm not the right guy for that job. Harvick not quite clear of Tyler Reddick off the exit of turn 2. He will clear him into turn 3 though. He's slowly getting his way through the field up to 31st. Big thing is he could go a little further on fuel this time around than what he did earlier. Not sure exactly how far he's going to want to take it, but this car's going to get worse and worse in the dirty air over the course of the longer run, so you got to keep that in mind, what him being in the middle of the pack right now. There's just so much jockey for position going on back there. Absolutely insane. Massive run for Harvick on the front stretch this time. Oh, Larson in the wall off turn 2. It's going to slow him up on the back straightaway. Harvick going to dive bomb to the inside into turn 3 and makes a pass on him. Well, maybe not quite. Slides up. He did clip the 5 car there, but Larson kept control of his car. Harvick drives on, able to block Reddick. Chase Elliott making contact with Stenhouse and almost got turned off the front bumper of Logano. And Harvick knocked Larson into the wall off turn 2, trying to check up. He just wasn't able to do it in time. Crazy racing right now at the back of the pack. Harvick, another dive bomb move, trying to get by Larson. Just unable to pass the 5 car. Harvick really gets off turn 4 really well. Can he clear Larson? Nope. Not that time either. Slides back up in line behind him. On the back straightaway, drives it in extremely deep into turn 3. Chase Elliott might have made contact with Stenhouse. Logano going to have a car underneath him now. Cole Custer. Harvick going to go to the outside of Kyle Larson this time in the tri-oval. Custer slides up right in front of him. Harvick trying to get to the inside. Custer with the block. That really costed Harvick momentum because he got in the back of the 41, and that allows Larson to get right back by in the top lane again. A lot of battling for position in the early going of stage 1. Harvick going for it. He already got by Larson, trying to slide up in front of Cole Custer, and does, to 29. For the driver formerly in the 29 car, Kevin Harvick. Really tight that time. Could not get the car to rotate the center of the corner. It's been having more problems on entry than anything, but that time right in the middle, it did not want to turn. Davion Westar Crypto, welcome into the stream. $50 laps to go in stage 1. One caution earlier in the race back at lap 9, but everybody's still on the lead lap. No scoring glitch happened due to exactly when the caution came out in comparison to where the leaders were on the track. We were in 38th at the time. Started last without practice or qualifying. Kyle Larson still keeping up with the 4 of Kevin Harvick right now. Not able to really make a pass on him. A lot of jockeying for position, though, still going on just outside and even into the back half of the top 10. Harvick only on those 9 to 10 lap pressure tires, and they're probably evening out at this point in the run, considering how many laps into this green flag run we now are. Harvick blocking Larson in the tri-oval, side by side in front of the 4 car down into turn 1. Between Joey Logano, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 3 wide up ahead. Contact, Christopher Bell sideways. He comes back in front. Hard into the wall goes Bell. Clips the 19 of Truex. Harvick passes about a dozen cars down on the apron and misses the crash. Hard hit for defending race winner Christopher Bell. Caution flag is out for the 2nd time today. And I believe Harvick is still on the lead lap as well as the rest of the field there. But a nasty spill. They were 3 wide. And Bell was the car in the bottom and then got hooked by the car in the middle right up the racetrack. I think he had it saved until he overcorrected it once he clipped the apron. And a vicious hit. Caution is out again. Harvick will pit again. Should be able to make it on fuel to the end of the stage now. Second wreck Harvick's had to miss today and barely missed it. Got to have our awareness on full display today. Can't destroy this car. I think we have a chance. Got a couple other cars on pit road. Harvick not the only one. I think Bell actually just pit, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong on that. But should be able to make it on field at the end of the stage once we go green. We'll have a little over half of stage 1 still to go after our second caution. Which, as you see, took place on lap 33. Michael Turner, Ice Demon King 92 Hammer, thanks for tuning in. Adam Alexander's a new play-by-play for trucks. I'll do Coda first race. I mean, there's a lot of doubleheaders for the Truck and Xfinity series this season. That's not the only one. I'm wondering how he's going to be able to do... There's no way he's going to be able to do every race. Because there's some Truck Series races... Well, you know what? That might be in the second half of the season. I was going to say, there's some Truck Series standalone events this year. But it might be when Fox is off the Xfinity and the NASCAR Cup schedule, so it might work out. But yeah, he's going to have quite a few races. He's doing 2 races in one day. I kind of figured they were going to go to him. I didn't think they were going to hire anybody else because the TV contract's up in a couple years, and it seems like Fox is just making budget cuts on a repetitive basis when it comes to their NASCAR programming. I tried to get the job, guys. I didn't think it was going to be possible, but I tried. Green flag back in the air. 42 laps to go in the stage. Harvick's got a lot fresher tires now. Has to just get through cleanly. I really kind of hope for the best. A lot of stacking up and checking up going on right now into turn 3. And Harvick was not exactly the only one that pit. Ideally, he'd like to get through the field here before they end up having to hit pit road. Or a potential caution comes out and he does get trapped a lap down, which hasn't been the case yet with the 2 cautions we've seen. Near contact between Stenhouse and Logano. Aggressive side drafting definitely going on there. Larson's gained a few positions on the restart. Kevin Harvick gets around him. Underneath Stenhouse. Gilliland. Logano moves up, just able to block the 38. Going to try to side draft the 4 in the tri-oval. Harvick moving forward. Freshest tires right now in the field. Austin Dillon from top to bottom, blocking Suarez and Cindric, holding everybody up except for Harvick. One car sideways on the back straightaway after contact from Ross Chastain. I believe it was the 15 of Garrett Smithley. Actually, it might have been the 78 of BJ McLeod. And it was AJ Allmendinger, now that we get closer in the 16, who got into him. Allmendinger side by side with his teammate at Kaulig Racing, Justin Haley. Harvick to the outside of the 16. 31 to block. Harvick with a slingshot move down to the bottom underneath the 31 of Haley. Harvick has cracked the top 10 for the first time today. He is up to 8th place off turn 2 as he clears McLeod. Billy Kramer also welcome into the stream. I just ran right through Ty Dillon. He's okay. We're okay. He's okay. Everything's okay. Harvick with the dive under Kurt Busch in the 45. He'll get around him. Now quickly under Eric Jones off turn 2. This is for 5th. A lot of playoff drivers starting to emerge inside the top 10 right now, with Byron to 3rd, Blaney right behind him in 4th, Harvick to 5th. We got cars pitting off the exit of turn 4. Blaney trying to pit. Almost turned Kevin Harvick into the outside wall. Somehow Harvick did not get turned nor hit the wall on the outside off the exit of turn 4. He was headed that direction, was not expecting them to pit that early into the stage, but they did. Man, oh man. It's been a chaotic opening stage so far, let me tell you. Byron gonna pit from the lead. Harvick out in front for the first time today at Kansas. He's going to lap the field, so if we end up getting our third caution while he is leading, he is going to be a whole lap ahead of the rest of the field here. If he can get a max points day, that'd be huge. I mean, obviously a win locks him into the next round, but that'd be 7 more playoff points that also carry over with him if he can win both stages and the race. Might be able to make it upfield to the end of stage 1. These guys are going to be on slightly fresher tires trying to run him back down and get their laps back, so it'll be interesting how they'll be able to do it. If we do get a caution before that, that'd be awesome. For our sake. Santiago Kid, thanks for tuning in also. Our goal tonight's going to be 35 likes on the stream. That was our goal last night. We were only 1 away, but I think we would have gotten there if I didn't DNF at Darlington. We would have made it to the end of the race because we weren't even quite to the end of stage 2 at the time. There's quite a few drivers that are 2 laps down right now. Not everybody, but definitely a decent amount. But everybody is at least 1 lap down. You know what, though? At the same time, there was one other car that pitted with Harvick, so I think whoever's in second place is also in the lead lap. So we got 2 cars on the lead lap, likely. Not sure how far back the second place car is. Harvick pretty far ahead right now, though. 22 of Logano just finally coming out of the pits. He'll be in 19th, 2 laps down. I wonder how many of these lap cars still have to hit pit road, if anybody still has to hit the pits. I think that round and a half of wedge out of the race cars really helped the handling, at least to this point. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. We'll do it 3 times today, 1 in each stage, hopefully. So we only did it once last night at Darlington with DNFing a little early. Fifth gear, yeah, I don't want to downshift. I'm not really dropping the speeds down too much. If the car gets extremely tight later in the run, I'll think about it, but for right now, I'm not worried about it. I'll tell you what, the car is a lot faster and a lot better handling-wise than what it was at Darlington last night. We have seen more competitiveness out of the 4 today, hence leading right now at stage 1, although, be it on strategy, he was still battling and passing cars for position mid-pack on relatively equal tires for the most part. But now we're going to have drivers on fresher tires trying to get around him, starting off with the 22 car of Joey Logano. Walls coming in hot in the middle of the corner. Got a big run on Tyler Reddick. Are we going to win 10 races in 2023? That's a very bold prediction. That would get him to 70 wins on his career. A review mirror, so definitely having to use that look back cam from time to time just to see where everybody's at. Harvick definitely holding this pack of cars up. Only about 4 or 5 cars behind him for right now. That's going to increase more and more over the course of the run. There's a good chance Kevin Harvick's going to have to pit before the end of the stage. Ideally, it could be a fuel-only stop, just to try to keep him in the lead. So you might as well try to run this out as far as you can. Either that or you pit for tires and try to make up some time, but he's got to be losing so much time as it is right now. I don't think that would be the right call, at least the way it's looking. Able to make up any time whatsoever, he's going to need anywhere between 20 to 25 lap pressure tires, which means he's going to have to go to about lap 65, 68 anyway. Got 25 laps to go in stage 1 this time by at the start-finish line. Larson can do it, why not Harvick? Well, Harvick's a lot older than Larson. Been a slight dip in performance for Harvick. I think he's definitely capable of going out to win a few races yet next year, but I think that 9-win season we saw out of him in 2020, that was the last we'll see of dominant Kevin Harvick. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if he had a Jeff Gordon 2015-like season, though, where in his final year he was in the championship 4 and had a few wins. I mean, Harvick, I feel like, is capable of being able to do something like that, even though he has dipped over the last couple of years. Not so much in 2021, even though he didn't win races. He still finished 5th in points. He was very consistent that year. Last year, he dipped in consistency. Was still fast to win a couple races, but he wasn't as consistent as we're known for seeing out of Kevin Harvick. Yeah, that line of 4 or 5 cars is stacking up big time, but Joey Logano has not made a pass on Kevin Harvick yet. Neither has anybody else on Harvick. Only adds to the incentive of staying out just a little bit longer, I guess. A little less than halfway on fuel. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. I would have thought he could go 42 laps. But at the same time, saw quite a few other drivers pit at about lap 44 in the stage, and that was even with 2 cautions. Go back to the far chase cam, at least to the end of stage 1 now. Logano to the outside. Finally going to get by Harvick. Tyler Reddick going to do the same. Harvick slides up right in front of Bubba Wallace. Reddick going to look to try to get by Joey Logano for position. So there goes some of the leaders. Now Truex could be on the lead lap here. Again, I think there were other cars that pitted with Harvick. I don't know how I did that. We're not going to talk about it. Yeah, Truex to the lead. Off of turn 2. He definitely pitted same time. I think the top 5 hit pit road during the caution. I think Truex, Harvick, Elliott, Bell, and Keselowski all pit. So now Truex leads for the first time in the race today with 20 laps to go in stage 1. And in case everybody else has to pit to the end of the stage, if you're Kevin Harvick, I think you got to consider pitting here sometime soon. Elliott now has gotten a pass for second. Harvick back to third. Could be sacrificing some stage points, though, so it's a risky call, but I think the call is going to be the right one. Kevin Harvick on his way into the pits this time. Four tires and fuel for Harvick. No adjustments on this second stop of the stage. Third, actually, but the first under green flag conditions. Yeah, Rolex 24 is not this weekend, but the following weekend. Alright, so Harvick going to go lap down. Now has to get back on the lead lap for the end of the stage. I think he'll be able to do so. Now, the reason why he pitted is in case everybody else has to pit, he has a shot to still win the stage. He's going to have to pass quite a few other cars, though, too. He's going to have a little less than 20 lap fresher tires, probably about 17, 18 lap fresher tires. Should be able to make up at least a little bit of time. Probably could have been locked into about a 5th place stage finish. It feels that this is the best strategy to win the stage. So that's why he's going with it. He's got a lot of clean air with these fresh tires. I look to really trying to take advantage of it. Really hoping this works out. At the very least, got to get back on the lead lap for the end of the stage. If we do that, we should get stage points too. Fastest lap of the race for Harvick that last time by 31.123. Really the first time the 4 has had clean air with fresh tires today. Having to go 18 laps on these tires. He will pit during the stage break. The big question is, will Truex, Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Christopher Bell, will those 4 be able to make it on fuel to the end of this stage? .081 that last lap. Harvick even quicker, about a half a tenth. So you can see Kevin Harvick in the 18th place position right now, 31.022 that last lap. I think it's very well possible we could see Harvick hit a lap time of a 30.0 by the end of this race today, as long as he keeps the car clean, of course. He has so far. He's missed 2 accidents. We've only had 2 cautions in this race. Had to miss them both. One down to the apron in turns 1 and 2, and the other one just at least on the inside. Garrett Smithley and then Christopher Bell crashed really hard. Still in the race, though, and in the top 5 because he pitted during the caution, as well as a few other cars that were involved. Definitely tell Harvick's closing up on the back of the field up there. The problem is he's only going to have 13 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. The apron through the tri-oval this time. Harvick's about 6 or 7 seconds behind the 16th and 17th place race cars ahead of him for position. I mean, if he's almost a second a lap faster, he'll definitely catch those guys. I'm not sure exactly how much further ahead the lead lap cars are going to be who are on even older tires. You got to expect Harvick's going to be well faster than all of them. I mean, if they end up hitting pit road, this is the right call to short pit, because at least we'll cycle ahead of Ben. I just don't know if they can make it to the end, then this is not going to be the wise decision. I think we probably would have ended up finishing 6th anyway, or 5th anyway. I don't think we were going to hang on in front of those 4 cars. if we sacrifice a couple stage points, I can live with that. It's going to be hard to live with being a lap down at the beginning of stage 2, though. Harvick's definitely closing. Gonna have 9 laps to go in the stage this time by. He's gaining a lot of time off the exit of turn 4 all the way to the entry of turn 1. That's where he's gaining the most right now. Lap after lap. Those guys get side by side. They get to racing. It's only gonna allow Harvick to close in more and more. Problem is getting to those cars and how much the dirty air is probably going to affect the 4 car. He's going to have to be aggressive when he gets there because he's running out of time. And if any of the top 4 hit pit road, that whole line's going to check up, so we got to be aware of that. Saw that earlier when they pitted a few laps after the most recent restart. Ryan Blaney almost turned the 4 of Harvick. Pit road closes with 2 laps to go in the stage. Once the race leader crosses the start-finish line to get 2 to go. I don't have a Discord. I had no clue the Bulls and Pistons were playing in Paris. Are they playing in Paris, or are you saying you're going to Paris and you're going to watch? I had no clue they were playing in Paris. And if you're going to the game in Paris, awesome, man. It'll be one heck of an experience. Watch my crappy Detroit Pistons suck in more country than just one. Actually, they kind of technically suck at 2 countries, considering they have to play Toronto a couple times a year. It'll be the 3rd country they suck at. Harvick has caught these guys, coming up on 5 to go this time by in the stage. Harvick got to get by Chris Buescher in the 17. All clear, and now he's underneath the 50 of Kaz Grallo off the exit of turn 4. Harvick's going to get back inside the top 10. Maybe. Can't have a caution, though. Cody Ware making contact with Harvick before the entrance to turn 1. Harvick able to keep it off of him. Big dive bomb by Harvick, trying to get by the 14 now. Chase Briscoe. Gonna be all clear. 1 car pits. I believe that was Brad Keselowski. Well, this is going to be interesting. Somebody else was on pit road too. So 2 of the top 4 at pit. 3 laps to go in the stage. Bilicki now clips the 4 of Harvick. Messing Harvick's entry to the corner up again. Harvick may have the speed to actually win this stage, pitting when he did. Assuming the top 2 are going to pit this time by. Going to have to watch for them to pit also. Make sure there's no major checkup, but there very well could be. So it should be the final lap of the stage. Harvick looking to get into position for stage points. Underneath the 24 car of William Byron, but can't clear him off the exit of the corner. Car moving up into traffic, going into turn 3 that just came out of the pits. Kevin Harvick trying to slide job on Byron. Can't clear him off the exit of turn 4. Still side by side. Big time slide job from Harvick. Going forward on Garrett Smithley. He got it. That was a lap car, but he was trying to clear everybody. Smithley to the inside. Crowds Harvick into the wall. Harvick did not blow a tire, thankfully, with that. J.J. Yaley holding up Michael McDowell now. Harvick really tight that time, getting into turns 3 and 4, having to hold up the traffic behind him. So, all the leaders pit. So, Harvick made the right decision pitting when he did. To try to get in front of Bell for another stage point here, and he does. Stage is now over for the race leader, at least, Kevin Harvick. Pretty good finish to this stage, so that ended up working out in the end. Glad we pitted when we did. Kevin Harvick going to finish 7th in stage number 1. 4 points. First time he scored stage points in 3 races. Eric Jones going to win stage 1 today, a non-playoff driver, off to a good start at Kansas. Martin Truex Jr. will end up 2nd. Chase Elliott 3rd. AJ Allmendinger 4th. Maurice Hesmans will round out the top 5. Michael McDowell 6th. Kevin Harvick 7th. Daniel Suarez 8th. William Byron 9th. And Kyle Larson will round out the top 10 in tonight's race here in stage number 1. We will pit during the stage break, and we will get on with stage 2 right after this. By this, I mean taking the screenshot. There we go. Gotta calculate the points myself for anybody that didn't know already. So Kevin Harvick will be pitting. No adjustments, 4 tires and fuel. Five wins for Byron, and one of them the Daytona 500. Alrighty, green flag in the air. Gonna be 16th on the restart. We had some cars pit during the stage break there, so Harvick not the only one on fresh tires. Gets into the back of one car, luckily. No major damage. He got into J.J. Yaley there on the restart. Now Garrett Smithley just shoves him into the wall. Nowhere for Harvick to go. Yeah, that wasn't going to work. Eric Jones going to slide up in front. Gotta get by all these cars on old tires. The bottom's going to be the way to do it. That's where Kevin Harvick will go. Gets back by Eric Jones as well. A lot of these guys are a lap down, but McLeod just bounced off the wall. Yeah, we've got like 3 different strategies going on right now. Some drivers pitted right for the end of the stage, some drivers pitted during the stage, and some didn't pit at all. They're probably going to end up pitting about 20 laps into the stage. Harvick, that was a bad decision trying to go to the outside there. Down in the middle of the corner. Try to shorten it up a little bit. There was a tiny hole and it closed very quickly. Harvick gets in front of Briscoe and Cindric and now to the inside of Bell. Harvick back in the top 10. He finished 7th at the end of stage 1. Gonna get by Suarez, Larson, Hesmans for position here in turns 1 and 2. Kevin Harvick up to 4th. Allmendinger in 3rd. I do think Harvick has fresher tires than AJ. I think he's on extremely old tires yet. But then Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, pretty much on equal tires as Harvick. And they have pulled away on this restart. Well ahead of the field. So Harvick going to try to run them down a little later. Larson on the same strategy, I do believe. He's just stuck. Harvick to 3rd. All clear of Allmendinger off of turn 2. We had a playoff driver win the Southern 500 of Christopher Bell walking his way into the next round, and we're going to see if we have that again here. Alternate through the different camera angles in the early going of stage 2 for the first time tonight. Or second time, rather, tonight. Hoping Truex, Elliott, and those guys catch the tail end of the field. That might be a chance for Harvick to end up catching up to them. It's going to be interesting, though, because a lot of these drivers are going to be on a two-stop strategy in this stage. And it's going to be a one-stop strategy for everybody that pitted just before the end of the stage and during the stage break. 85 laps, by the way, in stage 2. So about 5 laps longer than the first stage tonight. And the final stage will end up being 102 laps, which will be an extra 17 laps compared to stage 2 and an extra 23 laps compared to stage 1. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning in tonight. Up to 16 likes on the stream. Our goal, again, is 35. If we can get there. Sure hope we can get there. $178-point lead. What a wild Truck Series season that is. 9 wins for Haley Deegan and 2 for Jordan Anderson. One car on pit road right now, it looks like. Unless that's a pit. No, it is a car that's pitting. I think we're starting to see the drivers that have already or stayed out, I guess, during the stage break pitting early in this stage. It's definitely interesting. We've had 3 cautions in the race, 2 for incident in stage 1 and then the stage 1 break. No cautions in the early going of stage 2 so far. Hopefully Jordan Anderson returns to the Truck Series next season after his scary crash at Talladega this year. I'm hoping that doesn't end his racing career, and he'll get back in it. Very competitive on the super speedways too. I mean, he was in 4th when he his car literally blew into flames. Kevin Harvick just quite literally in no man's land right now. In 3rd place position. Probably going to want a short pit versus the 19 and the 9. Cycle out in front of them. Because they definitely were ahead of the field. And that's why they were able to pull away when they did. Stenhouse coming out of the pits. Harvick was expecting him to move up, and he did. Harvick got to the bottom. That caused him to make an awkward entry into turns 3 and 4. Couldn't really hook the bottom. Stenhouse will be in line right behind him off the exit of the corner yet. Go back to the far chase cam for a little bit now. Full Custer coming out of the pits. Will cycle in line right behind Stenhouse. Hey, there's only one greatest of all time. So even if Brady retires just because, say, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league right now, I wouldn't say that automatically makes him the GOAT. It's all about legacy when it comes to that stuff. Whole career. I don't think anybody will ever touch Brady. I don't even know if you're going to see guys play that far into their career like you did with him either. With how much they're getting paid now. I feel like they're only going to retire a lot younger. Sure, it's not quite as hard-hitting as it was, you know, some time ago, a long time ago, but still, you know, a relatively hard-hitting, dangerous sport. And I think we've seen that just within the last few weeks. There's somebody else that got carted off the field with some sort of a neck or spinal issue again last night. So, people look at that. Get later into your age, you know, the recovery from something like that, it's maybe going to be as easy as somebody that's younger. And that's even if they recover fully, because they may not. So I'm pretty sure we're going to make this a two-stop stage as well, but it's going to be a modified two-stop stage for us. And we are going to pit at about lap 30 in this stage, which would be overall about lap 110. So at lap 110, we will pit. We were on the lead lap, finished 7th in stage 1, so we got 4 stage points. Definitely a good start. A lot better of a race already for ourselves than what we had yesterday at Darlington. That stinks. I dropped my average finish down one whole finishing position from an 11.8 to a 12.8. Finishing last this late in the year, too. Harvick definitely giving up quite a bit of time to those that have already pitted. Somebody made up a decent amount, though, those first 10 laps before they pitted, and is obviously going to try to make up more once he pits at lap 30. Stenhouse going to finally get around him. He's a couple laps down, though, in 25th. Harvick grazed the wall lightly off the exit of turn 4 that time. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. I mean, Mahomes is off to just such a faster start early in his career. I mean, Brady was off to a pretty fast start, I guess, early in his career, too, though. It's just going to be about the longevity. You know, can Mahomes stay healthy over the years? Very few guys are able to. I mean, you look at like great quarterbacks that started off, you know, young and great, like a Ben Roethlisberger. He was putting up huge numbers early in his career, and then injury started to plague him late. I mean, even look at Peyton Manning. Once he got in his later year with the Colts, was having a lot of neck issues, and he only had a couple more good seasons left in him after that when he left. Really one really good season, then a mediocre season where he was able to win a Super Bowl because of how good that defense was. Christopher Bell in fourth is closed in behind Harvick. Brad Keselowski's right there as well. I have to believe the 9 and the 19 only pulling away a little bit further as a result as well. Again, lap 30 in this stage is when Harvick will pit. Justin Haley got to the outside. Didn't actually make a move there. And Brad Keselowski in the 6 car, by the way, about another 4 seconds still behind Harvick and Bell. Justin Haley going to get by Harvick. Not for position anyway, but Christopher Bell is. And a whole line of cars coming. 5th and 6th place on back. Bell to the outside of Harvick. Maybe a little bit of contact. See the damage on Bell's car from a wreck earlier in the race. That will drop Harvick back to 4th after Bell gets around him on the outside off the exit of turn 4. Kevin Harvick will pit this time by 4 tires and fuel. No adjustments to this 4 car coming up. A big line of cars upcoming as well. So it'll be a 2-stop stage for Kevin Harvick. Trying to get down to pit road speed, which is 45 miles an hour, and he easily is able to do so. And into his pit box he goes. So now we're going to go lap down temporarily until the top 4 cars hit pit road again. Omar, thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to the IndyCar game coming out. Well, considering Motorsport Games is under some deep stuff right now. I haven't looked too far into it, but I feel like I see stuff like every other week on Motorsport Games and just something negative. Harvick's got about 20 lap fresher tires than everybody who had pitted after the stage break. And about 30 lap fresher tires than everybody who pitted both during the stage break as well as just before it. Wasn't expecting BJ McLeod to go all the way down to the bottom like he did right there. And Harvick backed up the entry to the corner a little bit more. passes McLeod now for position. He's a full lap ahead of the 78 car yet. So it's going to be a two-stop stage for Harvick. I mean, it's possible that everybody that pitted during the stage break is going to have to pit twice also. Cars that pitted a couple laps before the end of the stage, I think there's a good chance they might have to pit twice as well, with this stage being 5 laps longer. And just knowing that in this game, the fuel window is a lot shorter than what it is in real life. Real life, these guys could probably go 60 to 70 laps on fuel on a mile and a half, but in this game, you're lucky to make it 50. That's at a full race, too. That's what doesn't make any sense. I can see in a shorter race if it was, like, accelerated a little more, but... I don't see why, I mean, it depends who's all in Miguel Cabrera's class. Like, who isn't all in there yet. Only so many players get in. I would like to believe he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but... I mean, not too many guys have 500 career home runs and 3,000 hits. Let alone guys that weren't on PEDs that had that. I just wonder how many more he could have had if he didn't play most of his career in Detroit, because that's literally the hardest ballpark to hit a home run in, just from a dimension standpoint. And the fact he's a righty, like a lefty might be easier than a right-handed hitter in that ballpark even. Harvick on the inside of Custer. 2 corners in a row. He's tried to pass Cole Custer and has not been able to actually clear him. Be on the inside of him again into turn 1. And this time he should be able to move up clear. And does. Cleared him by a couple car lengths that time. Long line of cars further up the way. Some cars in that line going to be pitting fairly soon. I'm going to try to pass as many of them as possible before that happens. And the cars that pitted during the stage break and just before pit, then you're going to see the rest of the field stay out for about another 10 laps, and then they'll pit. .45 laps to go yet, stage 2. And we have one of those cars pitting right now off turn 4. They pulled to the bottom, though, well into the corner. That was Martin Truex Jr., who was in second. So Elliott was leading for a long time just before that. Harvick clipped the apron getting into the corner there. Slowed him up just a little bit. Larson pulling out of line. 3 other lead lap cars that still have to hit pit road. Not sure exactly where they are at in the field. Harvick moving his way up, though. Chase Elliott still has to pit. You would have to imagine Truex is going to cycle out in front of him. Harvick finds a spot on the outside on the back straightaway. Finally able to clear Hesmans. Gets into A.J. Allmendinger. Almost turned the 16 car. He did not need a caution there with the leaders still having to pit. Chase Elliott stays out at least one more lap. So Harvick's still a lap down. Harvick to the inside of the 9. Clears him off turn 2. Harvick back on the lead lap. Are we in 11th still? We must have had a really slow pit stop. All Screw being able to cycle out in front of Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. to get Martin Truex Jr. I guess. Couldn't talk there for a second. So Harvick into 10th. He'll slide his way in front of the 43 of Eric Jones. He's still a full lap behind him. So Harvick lost a lot more time than he was originally thinking he was going to lose. Which is not good. Eric Jones likely going to cycle into the lead here. And he does. There's Bell. Harvick pitted well before Christopher Bell. And he's barely going to cycle out in front of him. That's actually shocking that Kevin Harvick, despite all that time on fresher tires, was only able to cycle out of the pits that much further ahead of the rest of the field. I mean, how slow does this pit crew have to be for that to be the case? He's barely on the lead lap right now. About a second and a half ahead of Eric Jones and Austin Dillon, who lead the race. Battling Bell right now for 9th. This will be an eventual battle for 3rd once the leaders pit. I don't know if we're going to be able to finish on the lead lap to the end of the stage. I think Jones just pit. Yeah, that's not good. That is not good. The situation we're in right now. I didn't think my picker was going to be that slow. Because we cycled out of the pits pretty well at the end of stage 1, but they must have had an even slower stop this last time. That's absurd. Tyler Reddick to the lead, by the way. Michael McDowell in 2nd. Harvick still holding Christopher Bell up right now. And not anymore. Bell blows around Harvick on the outside. Much fresher tires on the 4 car. So we know Elliott and Truex are going to have to pit for the end of the stage, so I'm not worried about if they end up lapping us. I'm more worried about the rest of the leaders, though. Harvick going to get back on the lead lap. Once the... Really, I think only 4 more cars still at the pit. So once the top 4 pit, he'll be back on the lead lap temporarily. I don't know how he's going to make up that much more time, though, on everybody else. It's a shame, too, because he's up to 5th. Yeah. You're fired. That was a terrible... I could do better, Vince McMahon. My voice is not feeling 100% today. Maybe another day. I'm sure I've done it in the past. Yeah, Harvick up to 4th. This is not good, because if those cars are going to be able to make it to the end of this stage... Because if I'm thinking correctly, they're on the lead lap. So AJ Allmendinger in 5th is like 5 seconds behind Kevin Harvick and closing fast on fresher tires. They should be on the same lap. I don't know how he didn't cycle further ahead, honestly. And they're likely going to be able to make it on field to the end of the stage. Harvick is not. That just hurt Harvick as he gets into the wall off the exit of turn 2. 3rd time he scraped the wall today. Mark DeMars, thanks for tuning in. Well, I will say this race is going a lot better than yesterday's race. It's just sad that we were 7th at the end of stage 1, though. On the lead lap, too. And we're on the lead lap in 4th right now, but it is not looking good for us to be on the lead lap to the end of this stage. I'm going to have to hope that not everybody... I mean, I'm going to have to hope nobody pits during the stage break, but I doubt that that's going to be the case. We have 30 to go in this stage this time by. Sorry if there was a quick lag in the stream. My OBS disconnected then reconnected randomly. Might have been like a 5 to 10 second lag there. Should be good now, though. Maybe it wasn't even that long. So I think the likelihood Harvick's going to get stage points at stage 2 is slim to none. Just have to finish on the lead lap to the end of the stage at all costs. In the wall again off turn 2. Fourth time he's gotten into the wall in this stage. 6th time total in the race. And the 3rd time in recent laps off turn 2. I think AJ Allmendinger just pitted. Josh Bilicki in 5th, Larson 6th. Communist Legos, thanks for tuning in. Yep, we are on the lead lap right now in 4th. I think Martin Truex Jr. should be the leader, then Truex in 2nd. Christopher Bell 3rd for sure, even after crashing hard back at stage 1. Kevin Harvick, despite a couple wall scrapes today, has kept the car really clean. And is currently in 4th. Has been in the top 10 pretty much this entire second stage. And ever since he pitted during the second caution of the race today, he's been in the top 10. Had to come back there late in stage 2 to get up to 7th on those fresher tires from when he pitted under green flag conditions earlier. But things are going well right now for Kevin Harvick. I just don't know that it's going to finish that way. We know each of the top 4 are going to have to pit for the end of the stage. So Harvick, Elliott, Truex, those guys, they're all going to have to pit. So he's not too worried about how far behind them he is because he knows he's going to have to pit again. This pit crew was not very fast for Kevin Harvick, though. On their last pit stop, they're going to have to be this next time. Some other cars on pit road, lappers likely. When will Kevin Harvick pit? Got about a third of tank gas left at this point in the run. Larson's got to be that next car behind him and closing quick. So Larson's going to end up being the leader, and there's going to be a good chance he's going to win this stage the way it plays out. Kevin Harvick going to pit one final time in stage 2. Got to get down to pit road speed, and he just did. There's a few other cars on pit road right now as well. Harvick is in. 4 tires and fuel. This picker's got to be on it. They were slow the last time. They cannot be slow again. Oh, Cindric stopping, coming out of the pits, waiting for Harvick. That was for position. I'll take it. We're in 15th. There go the leaders. All right. Let's go get them. Kind of similar to the end of stage 1. Got to get back on the lead lap for the end of the stage here. This time, though, the likelihood of getting stage points can be slim to none. 23 laps left in the stage. A couple other cars leaving pit road yet. Harvick currently scored 19th. Got to find Larson. We got to get around him. He scored in 4th right now, but he will be the leader eventually. Phil Moore, thanks for tuning in. Feels like we've been having cars pitting a lot more often in stage 2. Oh, this is Larson up here. Larson is short pitted. Just about a lap or 2 after Harvick. Harvick going to cycle up in front of him. Interesting. Pass for 18th. I guess Larson won't be the leader. So many different pit strategies in this, it's really almost impossible to just try to keep track of who is pitted when. I thought Larson already made his stop, but I guess not. Probably could have been a little bit more aggressive in the corner that time. I felt like it let out of the gas a little too much. I trust the grip in the race car with the fresh tires. A lot better through 1 and 2 this time. Oh my gosh, that was close. See, a rear view mirror would be nice for something like that. No clue Cole Custer had that big of a run off the exit of turn 2 on Kevin Harvick. See him that time. Harvick slides back up in front of him again off turn 4. Harvick trying to keep in front of Larson in case they're going to have to battle for the stage win at all. Turns 1 and 2 is where Harvick's definitely making passes on this racetrack right now, as he has cracked the top 15. Contact with BJ McLeod. Stalls Harvick's run out quite a bit that time. Rallo slammed into the side of him. Harvick to 14th. Bell in third in this group. I see Elliott was likely in second. There is a slower car that has held these guys up quite a bit. I think that is going to help Harvick out a ton, because it's definitely going to give him a shot at stage points when I didn't think he had any shot at stage points. Lose a spot to Smithley there. Not for an actual position, though. Garrett Smithley in 23rd. Down on the bottom of the racetrack. Cody Ware up to 13th. Turns 1 and 2. Harvick trying to turn it on this end of the racetrack. Not quite going to clear Cody Ware off the exit of the corner. Slides up in line right behind him, though. Hesman's pulled up. Harvick going to likely get by Ware. He has already cleared him. And just gets by Hesmans as well. Unbelievable. It's by the 20 of Bell. Barely clears him, and really trying to arc the corner off into turns 1 and 2. I think it's Brad Keselowski who's holding these guys up right now. Truex in line also. Brad might be in the lead, because he was on the same strategy as Bell, Harvick, Elliott, and Truex at the beginning of the stage. Harvick got slowed up getting into turns 3 and 4 that time. He couldn't get the corner exit speed off 4 like he was getting before after making contact with the 16. Harvick wants to get in front of these guys before the 6, the 9, and the 19 pit. It's going to be his best chance to win the stage. Barely clears McDowell as he slides in line between Bubba Wallace and Michael McDowell there. And I believe Harvick would be the first car, technically 2 laps down, but it'd be 1 lap down once the top 4 hit pit road. Harvick really hoping to cycle in front of all of them. Down on the bottom of the racetrack. Clears Bubba Wallace, not for position, neither him or McDowell. So yeah, this is where it's interesting. I think we're going to have to pass the, 6th place car probably to technically be on the lead lap before the end of the stage. Harvick's close. Good job keeping off Logano. He had to lift, though. That's going to break his momentum on the front stretch. Logano squeezes Harvick. Harvick clears the 22. Now trying to quickly get by the 8 of Tyler Reddick. A little slide job, and he'll complete the pass on the 7th place car. NASCAR Cup Series 2311 Racing, thanks for tuning in. Down to 9 laps to go, stage 2. Jones in 5th. And Keselowski is actually 4th. So Keselowski, I believe, will have to pit for the end of the stage. If he does not, we're going to have to pass him. And obviously going to have to get by Eric Jones as well here, but it's the only chance for Harvick to finish on the lead lap at the end of the stage. Remember, Eric Jones won stage 1. Harvick with a big source of speed right now in the front stretch. Dive bombs under Brad Keselowski into turns 1 and 2. Clears it. Big time slide job. Pulled off there, and Harvick is up to 11th. And Truex, the leader, really getting away for right now, but we know he's going to have to pit. So Harvick is 2 laps down. But he is ahead of the 4th and 5th place cars and trying to pull away from him right now. I think he'll gradually be able to do it. Needs to finish in front of them to be on the lead lap at the end of stage number 2, which was the result that he wanted middle of the stage when we found out that our 2-stop strategy wasn't looking like it was going to turn out exactly as planned. We'll be able to beat the guys that we were on the similar strategy with by short pitting, but not necessarily the guys on the one-stop strategy. Pit crew just was not fast enough. And I think that's where we were lacking. But at least we're back on the lead lap, even with making one extra stop. This car has speed. Long runs is where it really struggles. Waiting on Truex, Elliott, and Bell to pit. Truex stays out of the pits this time. Truex was the first of them to pit. Middle of the stage. We're down to just 5 laps to go, though, right now in stage 2, so they're cutting it pretty close. That'd be the worst thing that could happen, is we are 2 laps down at the end of the stage rather than just 1. Or on the lead lap. We can be anywhere between on the lead lap to 2 laps down at the end of the stage here. We're 4 laps away from the stage end at the line this time by. Will Truex pit now? You know, pit road closes with 2 to go in the stage. Nope, Truex stays out again. Harvick still a little over a second ahead of Keselowski. Nobody able to pass him. It's good for us. I mean, if Elliott gets around him, no big deal, but don't worry about Jones. You know, that 43 car's got some speed today after winning stage 1. Had a win in real life in the round of 16 in the playoffs as well at Darlington. And again, Truex stays out. I mean, at the very least, we need Truex to pit. Even if Elliott doesn't pit, we'll be 1 lap down. We just can't be 2 down at the end of the stage here. Truex stays out again. That does not end the stage. Really pulling for Martin Truex Jr. to pit this time by. I mean, he pitted before halfway through the stage. That's what doesn't make any sense. How he potentially could make it all the way to the end here. No, he won it. Yeah, he made it. Wow, that is unbelievable. So Kevin Harvick going to be 2 laps down. I don't know how the heck he made it. There's no way. I mean, he pitted before we did. The 19, the 9, and the 20. I don't think the 6 did. I thought he did, but I don't think he did with how slow he was there. But the 19, the 9, and the 20, they pitted before I did the first time in the stage. I pitted twice, and they only pitted once. But they pitted before I did, which really doesn't make any sense how they made it on fuel. I'm mind-boggled right now. Now we're 2 laps down at the end of stage 2. We were on the lead lap, finished 7th at the end of stage 1, got stage points. No stage points in stage 2. And we're 2 down. We're going to pit during the stage break. I got to hope everybody stays out. I don't know. With the 19, the 9, and the 20, as close as they were on fuel, they'll probably pit. The 6 may come with them. I think the 43 on back will stay out, but... Wow, I don't know. I don't know how that happened, honestly. Martin Truex Jr. is going to win stage 1. Chase Elliott 2nd. Christopher Bell in 3rd. Brad Keselowski 4th. Eric Jones in 5th. Austin Dillon 6th. Tyler Reddick 7th. Joey Logano 8th. Bubba Wallace 9th. And Michael McDowell will round out the top 10 in stage 2. And we will get on with the final stage. No adjustments here. 4 tires and fuel. We'll hope for the best. Like how we crashed after we crossed the start-finish line. They didn't give us damage, though, so that's good. Thank goodness. We'll see if anybody else is on pit road. I doubt it. I really hope they're not on pit road. I hope they pit right after the stage So that way we could try to make up 2 laps on Truex, Elliott, and those guys. They did not pit. All right, so nobody pitted during the stage break except for Kevin Harvick, so he might have a shot still to make up 2 laps. Better hope so. The green flag is in the air, and we're underway for Stage 3 in the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas. Harvick quickly down to the bottom of the racetrack. Knows he needed to get there.
2 on the outside, you're 3 wide, 2 outside. 3 wide, get 2 up top.
And have much fresher tires than the rest of the field. Really going to have to be aggressive on this restart. Top 3 could really pit at any given time.
Got 1 right. Clear.
Slow up right in the middle of the front stretch, helping Harvick out a ton there. Stenhouse moves down right in front of Harvick. Harvick had to lift to let the 47 in. 47 going up to try to clear the 78. He was able to do so cleanly.
Clear.
Anita Luna, thanks for tuning in. So Harvick starting the final stage 2 laps down. Final stage is 102 laps though also. Those cars that did not pit during the stage break, I wonder if they'll have to pit 3 times. Then again, as far as they made it, they'll probably have to pit twice. But they're definitely going to have to pit twice. The problem is how many times am I going to have to pit? We might have to just try to stretch it for 1 stop. We haven't gone more than 35 laps on tires, though. I don't know how that's going to work. We're already pretty tight by the end of the run. If we get to 30, 35 laps, I couldn't imagine 50, but we might have to try it. Jesus, Rick. Trying to wreck us in the middle of the front stretch.
Car right. Clear.
Torres, thanks for tuning in. At 23 likes on the stream right now. Again, our goal is 35 today. We've got 25 people watching. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you have not already. Kevin Harvick in 11th. That's where he finished at the end of stage 2. 2 laps down to start the stage. I believe he just made 1 lap up right there. Once everybody ends up pitting from that lead lap, it'll be interesting. How this is going to end up going. I did not see Elliott, Truex, or Bell on pit road. I don't think anybody pitted with the 4. Remember, we had that very first pit stall on pit road entry. There was nobody else in the pits from our camera angles, so got the whole look down the line. I didn't see any cars in their pit boxes. If they're going to try to go on 2 stops, they're definitely going to have to push it early in this stage and go from there. We did not see any cautions for incident in stage 2, but we did have 2 cautions for incident in stage 1. We've had 2 stage breaks, so 4 cautions total in the race today. Harvick already 3 seconds ahead of Eric Jones after passed him just a couple laps ago. We should have been a full lap behind Jones in 4th. And we obviously made that up on him right at the beginning of the stage, so we'll easily cycle ahead of the 43. The longer they go, the better for us before pitting. Picker's so slow, I just don't know. Well, we did our job in the last stage. We beat the cars that we needed to beat, or at least that I thought we were going to have to beat. And it wasn't enough because I honestly thought that the 19 was going to have to pit. He didn't. So we only have 3 cars on the lead lap. All playoff drivers, so Bell already won the first race of the round. That'd be huge if he could win the first 2 races of the round. If we were to see a caution at all in this final stage, it would have to be after everybody cycles out of the pits and we're back on the lead lap. I don't think there's any way it'll happen, but if I could somehow catch the back of the field before everybody that was one lap down at the beginning of the stage pits, that'd be huge for us. That'd be our best chance of at least finishing 4th in this race. At the very least. Because we made our lap back. We should only be 1 lap down right now instead of 2. Which honestly means, though, that when the 9, the 19, and those guys end up pitting... Again, that's assuming they didn't pit during the stage break. They haven't pitted yet. We're 13 laps into stage 3. There's no way that they could go that far. That tells me they pitted during the stage break, even though we didn't actually see them on pit road. I'm just trying to figure this out for myself. Like, how is this logical that they are still running where they are on the racetrack? I don't think it is logical, honestly. I think there's one car on pit road right now. I don't know who it is. Okay, so one of them just pitted. Putting Harvick to 10th. I still don't know if we make this, try to stretch it into 1 stop or 2. I know I'm going to be very slow trying to do it on 1. And they're going to be so much faster than me after they pit for so long. I think I see Bell in. It looks like the DeWalt-colored car is in. Tough to tell. I mean, it could have been Logano. I think he was in the... Yeah, it wasn't Bell. Bell's... Well, I mean, it could be Bell. I don't think we'll be able to make up a whole nother lap on him. I don't think we're going to find out. Unfortunately. Harvick up to 6th. Up into the wall there off turn 2. Hurt the car a little bit. Harvick up to 5th. Two stops. I mean, that would definitely guarantee us 4th, I think. The pace we're running. Then again, I mean, maybe Keselowski's on the same strategy. He's 1 lap down, though. But he could be on the same strategy as the top 3. Even though he's not on the lead lap. Yeah, I think Keselowski's on the same strategy. So if we pit twice in this stage, I think we are going to end up finishing 5th, as long as we don't get any cautions. We made up 1 lap on the restart on those guys, but they're on the same pit strategy as me, so... Okay, I made this lap up. If I pit before them, maybe I can make the other lap up, we cycle through, and then just kind of hope we get a caution. Or we're back on the lead lap. Turn 2 has not been kind for me. Ever since we got like most of the way through stage 2, I've gotten into that wall like 5 times now. I have 90 laps to go this time by. Giant line of cars up ahead. Somebody slower is definitely holding them up. Because a lot of cars have already pitted that would have fresher tires than Kevin Harvick right now, but they don't seem to be running him down. So one thing that's going to help us is going to be lap traffic, I believe, in this one. Because whoever that is up there is slowing them up. Honestly, it could be anybody in the top 4, really, that's holding those cars up. It'd have to be somebody in the top 4. Yeah, if we use the 2-stop strategy, we'll end up hitting at lap 35. Lap 35 in stage 3, that is. Jim McLeod to the outside. Harvick saw him at the last second, but he was still committed to moving up, and it's like McLeod may have lifted to let Harvick up in line on the outside off turn 2. McLeod going to blow around the 4 car this time. Not too worried about him, though. Dang, I thought that was Bell at first. Saw the yellow car. Josh Balicki. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to think here logically. A few other cars on pit road. I wish I knew who was pitting. That would be the big... That would help me a ton if I knew who was going in and off of pit road. We'll definitely know when the top 4 pits if they end up pitting before us at all. Good grief. It's expected Stenhouse to come all the way up the racetrack. That messed my corner up so much through 3 and 4. Thanks, Ricky. That's the second time he's done that, too. Both times I've had to dodge a car coming out of the pits on the back straightaway. It's been Stenhouse both times. Stage 2 last time.
Clear all around.
Couple more cars on pit road.
Stay left. Clear, clear, clear.
Here goes Kaz Gralla. Will Custer stuck behind Kevin Harvick all by himself. No other cars behind the 41. Harvick's definitely losing the pack of cars up in front of him. 14 and the 2 just coming out of the pits. A little over a third of a tank of gas left for Harvick at this point in the run. We were looking at lap 35 in the stage for him to pit if he was going to pit twice in this stage. I'm going to bank on there not being a caution in this stage, just like stage 2. Definitely seems as if the aggressiveness has died down quite a bit. Our best shot to win the race is try to make it a 1. I think I'm going to try to do it. Worst case scenario, we take a splash and go at the very end of the race. I know I'm going to be very slow right now. But as long as we stay in 5th, stay ahead of like Eric Jones, all those guys. If we stay ahead of them before I pit, no reason why we can't cycle back out in front of them.
Stay left. All clear.
Probably start downshifting in the corners too. Yeah, definitely going to downshift this late into the run. Once we get over 30 laps on our tires. Rear wheels are spinning though when I downshift, that's the problem. Lap 35. Now we're gonna pit. Late decision to hit pit road this lap. Harvick is in. Pretty solid pit road entry. Sliding into his box. 4 tires and fuel for the 4. No adjustments. I was seeing the speed in the middle of the corner was down to like 144 miles an hour. It's just too slow on a mile and a half. We were 3 seconds off our original pace on just 35 laps. Kansas doesn't degrade tires that much. So it's kind of BS, but it is what it is. Brad Keselowski holding up all these guys on fresher tires. Allowing Chase Elliott to get away. And Harvick has way fresher tires than the top four. Try to make up a little bit more time on them with short pitting. Could be a modified two-stop stage for him. He's got to make up a full lap on Eric Jones if he's going to want to finish in the top 5. Like, we just passed those guys again. We have to make up a full lap before they pit, ideally. Really banking on Truex, Elliott, Keselowski, and Bell will all have to hit pit road twice in this stage. We made it on one stop when we weren't thinking they were going to in the last stage. They definitely pitted during the stage break as far as they're going right now. It's just crazy that they had to pit with 2 cautions. They had to pit an extra time at stage 1 with 2 cautions, and the fact that that stage was 5 laps less than stage 2. That's what I can't get over. And I think that's just how much you burn fuel under caution in this game. Versus when you stay green, you can actually go closer to a full run. It's insane. I haven't played this game before, but it kind of reminds me of Dirt to Daytona a little bit. You burn fuel a lot more under caution than what you do under green. And Harvick 2 laps down on Elliott. He lost so much time over the course of that long run. And he made up a lap initially at the start of the stage on Elliott, but by the time he pitted and how slow this pit crew is too. Give it right back up again, and he's back to 2 laps down. See how much faster the 4 car is than the 9 who leads this race. And he is pulling away. If it stays green to the end, it's going to be Chase Elliott's race to lose. Truex has been pitting before him. I don't know if that's going to be the same now that they're on equal fuel mileage. To start the final stage with pitting during the stage break. We'll have to find out. It appears back there that Keselowski's still holding up all those cars. Chase Elliott in the wall off turn 2. Slows him down even more on the back straightaway in comparison to Kevin Harvick, who's closing in fast on about 35 lap fresher tires than the 9. Should have a chance to get around him in turns 1 and 2. Big slide job on Elliott, gets around him first chance he had. Harvick back to 1 lap down again. I don't know if it's going to be more beneficial if Chase Elliott pits once in this stage or if he pits twice for our sake. You would think if he pits twice it'd probably be more beneficial. Not quite halfway through this final stage yet. Still on the track. I mean, that's going to be the big decision maker if this stays green, though. And whether they're going to be able to make it or not. Will we get halfway through the stage? We have to consider the fact that Elliott's almost 2 full laps ahead of us. So he's technically on lap 48 in stage 3, where we're not quite at that. And you know what? Now that I think about it, if they didn't pit yet, we were all... Well, no, we would have been 1 lap down. And now I'm trying to think. Am I 2 laps down now and I was 3 down? So weird. Because I was 2 down at the end of the stage. I made up a lap. I was 1 lap down. I pitted, so I lost a lap. But they were close enough behind me. With how slow my pit crew is, I could have actually been 3 laps down right there versus those guys. I have no clue. At this point, I'm confused. I'm just overthinking it. That's what I'm doing. I'm overthinking it big time. I'd like to think we're 1 down right now, but come to think of it, I might be 2 down. It's crazy. We didn't even have a caution with the scoring glitch today, and I still find a way to get screwed by this game on the intermediate tracks. Billy Carjoy, thanks for tuning in. Got a car on pit road. It looks like Brad Keselowski's in. Chase Elliott has already pitted as well because Truex is now leading. So they pitted right at about halfway. Which means they may, and it's going to be close, but they may have to pit 1 more time. It's going to be a lot closer to what it was in the last stage, and this stage is a lot longer, so we'll have to wait and see. Keselowski just coming out of the pits up ahead. Harvick is not going to be able to get to him. Made up a lot of time. Not enough to cycle out in front of him, though, unfortunately. I think the big thing is if we get a caution now, because then we'd be 1 lap down. And Elliott isn't even in the lead. We could pit under the caution and really try to get that lap back. So if we are going to pray for a caution at any point in time in this stage, it's going to have to be right now. And it's going to have to be right after I cross the start-finish line, because if I'm just on the other side of it, I'll probably be 2 laps down because of a scoring glitch. So right after I cross the start-finish line, or just getting into turn 1, somewhere in that area of the racetrack, I want there to be a caution. That's going to be our best chance of trying to win this race still. Christopher Bell's 3rd. There's Bell. Yeah, so we were 3 laps down. Because now we only made 1 lap back up over Bell, who was in 3rd. Truex at 2nd, just up ahead. They're on much fresher tires. Yeah, so we're still a lap down after cycling through. We're 1 lap down right now. Elliott back in the lead. Probably just blew around whoever was leading temporarily on fresher tires. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fuel mileage race for the top 3. I'm already slower than him. I'm not going to make up a full lap without a caution. We need a caution. We need a caution right after I cross the start-finish line. When am I going to get that lap back? I'm not going to without a caution, unfortunately. I mean, we'll get back up to 5th once everybody else pits. Then we have to pit one more time too, so we're trying to make up basically a full... We were 2 laps down, so we have to make up a full lap on even the 5th place car just to finish in 5th. Harvick in the wall off turn 2. Bell finally blows around Harvick. What the? Chase Elliott is almost a full lap ahead of 2nd and 3rd. So now we're about to go 2 laps down again. How the heck was he that quick on pit road that he cycled that far ahead of the 20 and the 19? Please tell me. It's like he just like pulled into his box when he's on pit road, and then the tires like went on there like as soon as he pulled in, he pulled right out. Like, how do you make up that much time? He made up almost a full lap on 2nd and 3rd, let alone me. Now I'm 2 laps down again. So much for there being a caution. I mean, I'd rather this stay green to the end then. Yeah, we're not winning. We are not winning this race. We are not finishing top 3. Probably not catching Keselowski for 4th. Our best chance is 5th. And even that, we're going to get lucky to get in the top 10 at this point. That is ridiculous. You know, I probably could have made it on one stop. I just didn't want to drive the car. As bad as it was going to be, I don't know that we would have been able to stay in front of Jones and those guys for another... Probably would have had to do it for about another 12, 13 laps. And then we would have had to hold them off so long on old tires on the 2nd stint. Way longer than the 1st. It's our best chance to get a top 5, and if we don't, it wasn't meant to be. I'm still shocked at how far they went on fuel in stage 2, honestly. I would have tried to make it on one stop if I would have known that was going to happen. Because at least we would have had a shot to finish on the lead lap. And instead of 1 lap down, we ended up 2 laps down. Probably going to have to start downshifting in the corners again. I guess we are getting close to 30 laps into the run again. Up to 10th. I just saw one of the lead lap cars pit. Sorry, lap cars pit. One of the cars that were 1 lap down just hit pit road. I think even with a 2-stop strategy, we're going to be locked in. Unless a miracle caution comes out, we're going to be locked into a rough finish here. By rough, I mean 11th. It's not going to be terrible. We did get some stage points earlier, better than nothing. Got 4, all the way back in stage 1. Man, we still have 50 laps to go in this race to just leg this out, too. 40 to go. Did my math wrong. We'll end up making our final pit stop pretty soon. So tomorrow night we will have the elimination race at Bristol for the round of 16. It'll start at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there's a good chance Kevin Harvick going to have to try to race his way into the next round. He's going to have 2 finishes outside the top 10. I don't think he's going to be locked up on points after this race. I don't think he scored enough stage points. I have to be at least 59 points above. I feel like we lost some points to the cutoff line. It depends on where exactly the drivers below the cutoff line are running. I haven't really seen Kyle Busch up here. I know Blaney was around the cutoff line. He's had a pretty good day. I think he's been one of those cars inside the back half of the top 10 most of it. Harvick's car is just so extremely tight right now in this point in the run. Well, it's nice to know we're in 6th right now. It's so painful we're not even going to get a top 10. Just knowing that that's going to happen, it's painful. I mean, maybe we could have just tried to make it a one-stop. Hindsight's 20/20. I don't think it would have mattered. I think we would have been in 6th after we pitted the second time versus in 6th before we pitted the second time. If we would have tried, well, we wouldn't have pitted a second time, so that's why we would have been in 6th. If we tried to make it on one stop, which could have been possible considering we're 3 laps down now. Because then technically our final stage is only going to be about 100 laps versus 102, so we may have been able to make it on 1. But I still don't think I would have actually finished up there. We did not have great pace. We were 3 seconds off of the pace, and that was 37 laps on tires. Right now, we're 32 laps on tires, and we're about 2.8 seconds off our original pace. So we probably would have fallen off maybe another second, or right around there. This final 13, 14 laps of the run, if we would have had to stretch it even further. We are at lap 70 in the stage. Kevin Harvick will pit this time by as he just made his way to 5th place, crossing the start-finish line that time by. Lifting off the exit of turn 2, going to keep it off the wall here. It's been a long time since we've blown a tire in this game. I'd like to keep it that way. I'd like to never blow one again. That's likely not going to happen, though. Harvick on his way into the pits. A few other cars on pit road right now. Some of the back markers. 4 tires of fuel. Final stop of the day for Harvick. So put him back in 11th place. Likely for the rest of the day. I guess we'll be outside the top 11 for now. We're in 20th. Leaving pit road. Cody Ware is in 5th temporarily. But yeah, all those guys that you see up there will cycle ahead of them once they pit. Should get right back into 11th again. Went about 35, about 32, 33 laps second run. This final run, if he stays 3 laps down, it's only going to be about 29 to 30 laps. That's why he pitted when he did. It'll be pretty much on equal tires with everybody he was originally going to try to race. It just stinks that we started a lap down compared to 4th through 10th. And that's why we're going to finish in 11th, because we had to make up that full lap on him. Yeah, that was not a good idea. I tried to downshift on fresh tires. I was just curious. Yeah, I can't do it this early in the run. I'm going too fast. All I did was redline it. Last thing I want to do is blow a motor right now. Then we might have a little extra work cut out for ourselves at Bristol tomorrow night. I don't want that. I'd like to be as far ahead of that cutoff line as possible. So if Christopher Bell doesn't win, and it's between Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr., which pretty much looks like Elliott, as of right now, is going to win this race, but it still could be a fuel mileage race for the top 3. I guess you can't completely count Bell out of it. Even Keselowski, for that matter, you might not even be able to count out of it. But if either Elliott or Truex win, they will be inside the round of 12. They will be locked in no matter what happens to them at Bristol, along with Bell. It'll be huge for Joe Gibbs Racing if Truex wins. Only 3 of their cars made the playoffs, just like in real life, but the difference is Truex made it here, and Hamlin ended up missing, versus in real life Hamlin was in, but it was Martin Truex Jr. who failed to qualify. Kyle Busch barely snuck his way in that regular season finale at Daytona. Took till the last race to lock himself in on points. He went into that race about 43 points above the cutoff line, and he had stage points in that race, so he pretty much locked himself up before the final stage, but still, it was come down to the wire. And even if you look just before the regular season finale at Daytona, when we went into Michigan, which was the 4th to last race, he was below the cutoff line. When we went into Watkins Glen, before he ended up finishing 2nd in both stages in the race, Kyle Busch ended up making up so many points that day. Scored 54 points. And that was massive for him. That was really the difference in him making the playoffs and not making it. And the stage points he scored at Pocono late in the regular season. He didn't get a good finish in that race, but he did win the first stage and finish in the top 5 in another stage. Those stage points in those races late in the season helped Kyle Busch. Harvick back to 16th. He's got 5 more spots he's still going to pick up here some point once everybody cycles through in the coming laps. If we do get a caution before the end, I will pit. I don't know, though. I mean, maybe I stay out. I feel like if I pit, I'm going to lose more spots, and I'm only going to have a couple laps to be able to make it up. Say if a caution came out to force overtime, I'd probably just have to suffer and stay out, honestly, on old tires. Just for 2 laps and hope for the best. So we are going to be on the same lap as quite a few other people, and 2 laps down that I would lose a lot of spots. Could risk falling outside the top 20, really. Alternate through the different camera angles for the final time in today's race when we get to the start-finish line. This time, buys, we have about 20 laps to go in the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas. Stay out for a while. I'm staying out to the end. I don't plan on pitting again. We've already made 2 green flag stops on the stage.
Got one right.
Man, Harvick lifted. He noticed Stenhouse had a massive run on those fresher tires. Got to the outside very quickly in the middle of 3 and 4. Harvick did a good job keeping it off the 47. The last thing we probably need is a caution trapping us another lap down, too. Whoa. Car just did not turn there. I've noticed with the stability help on ovals in this game, and I don't know if it's always been like that. We took that couple-month break from this game when the off-season first started. But there's sometimes it just doesn't turn. It almost feels like it's turning to the right in the middle of the corner. That was the first time I had really felt that in this race, but I have felt that on other races already. Like Michigan, I felt that quite a bit. I didn't feel it at Darlington. It's very odd. Whatever it is. We were in clean air too, so it wasn't like there was a dirty air problem.
Stay left. Clear.
Lane Byron, Chris Buescher getting by the 4 of Harvick on the outside lane through 3 and 4. Harvick has been back in 11th place for a few laps now. Should finish there. Maybe he'll have to play defense on whoever the 12th place car is, if that ends up being a thing. Oh, he could be the only guy 3 laps down, potentially. Yeah, see, there it goes. It got super tight again, all the way down to 143 miles an hour randomly. Pretty early in the run still for that to be happening. It has not happened this whole race until this final stage. This final run, really, it didn't even happen in the final stage until a few laps after we left pit road. It's happened twice now. I don't want to put me in the wall, whatever that is. I don't know if it's a glitch. I know it's not my controller. I've already tested it out, so it's not like the analog stick is sticking. Ben, I think a couple of you guys in the chat have also mentioned that that's happened to you. I didn't use stability help at Darlington, so that's probably why it didn't happen there. It's only when the stability help is on. Hear the difference in the race car? Yeah. The different camera angles. It's a little too high-pitched sounding. This game makes it way higher pitch, I think, than what it actually is. I've never actually been inside a stock car, but at least from the outside, it like grumbles more, especially with the next-gen car. They made this car in this game sound a lot more high-pitched than the car before it. It's actually the other way around. It's a lower pitching sound. More like a snarl. You don't feel it as much like in your chest necessarily, but the sound of it does seem like it's a deeper tone. That's what I've noticed, at least from tracks I've been to. I've seen the next-gen car on every style of track. Actually, I don't think I saw a road course race last year for the Cup Series. Come to think of it. Yeah, I don't think I saw a road course, so I guess I have to see a road course race yet. I'll be seeing a few of them this year. Sonoma, Coda, and Chicago for the street race. I mean, I would imagine it'd be the same thing. Maybe not quite as amplified for as long period of time, considering they'll get stretched out a little bit more. Yeah, we have 20 laps on our tires. I was down to 138 miles an hour in the middle of the corner there. This car has not been handling really that bad all day long until just now. And it has turned terrible. Harvick just kind of praying that nobody else is going to catch him for these final 10 laps and he could still hold on to 11th. He wasn't going to get any spots anyway. I drove it off way too deep that time. I was still faster doing that, though, than what I was before. Oh, my gosh. Stand corrected. We're just limping this car around the track. Ross Chastain's in 32nd, by the way, I've seen on the leaderboard. He was 23 points above the cutoff line coming into the race today. That's not good. I don't think he had any stage points in Stage 1 or Stage 2 either. Chase Elliott's still the leader. Remember, it is a fuel mileage race for the leaders right now. We are not going to cycle ahead of any of them regardless of if they have to pit or not. So we're still going to be in an 11th place finish, but it's the battle for the win and for a secured spot in the round of 12 between Martin Truex Jr. and Chase Elliott is still on the line. They are P1 and P2. Bell in third. Keselowski fourth. Keselowski non-playoff driver, and then Bell already won the first race of the round at Darlington last night. Elimination race will be tomorrow night. Same start time as the last couple nights, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Bristol, under the lights. It'll be our first race on concrete Bristol on NASCAR 22. Sure, we had a sauce, yeah. That's what I imagine goes on in their production meeting. Or not production meeting. Whatever the hell, board meeting. That's what I meant to say. Not production meeting. It's not TV. This is far from reality, I'll tell you that much. Funny thing is, they wanted to make this game more realistic, and that's they did completely the opposite. This game is far from being realistic than any other racing game I've played. NASCAR game specifically. I mean, there's probably some nonsensical racing games out there that, like Mario Kart, like that's not real. Like that could not be real in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not going to say this is the most unrealistic racing game, but it's the most unrealistic NASCAR game. There's some realistic features, but there's some realistic features in like every NASCAR game, at least that I've played. This one's just far worse than all the others. Outside of the graphics, this game is complete utter garbage, and even the graphics glitch out at times. Like the night races, I feel like the lighting's way too dark. The day to night transitions are cool, but the lighting's in the dark. And when the lights turn on, the screen goes black and you end up crashing more than 80% of the time when that happens. So Chase Elliott, I think, is already pit because Martin Truex Jr. leads and Christopher Bell is now in second. Hold on, folks. We have not received the white flag yet, but Chase Elliott has already had to pit. He is in third. Now we're waiting on Truex and Bell to see if any of those two are going to have to hit pit road anytime soon. But Truex is taking the lead late away from Elliott. One car on pit road right now, that might be Truex. No, Keselowski was the car in the pits. Should be 3 down. Once Truex and Bell pit, will be 2 laps down again. If they pit, that is, and not sure. Although Elliott was so far ahead of Truex and Bell, we might be 2 down anyway. Which is where we started the stage. We'll see if they get the white flag this time by. Keselowski in 10th just came out of the pits. Where he's going to end up finishing. Truex still leads. Logano up to 4th. Bell still in 2nd. He has not hit pit road. Elliott on much pressured tires, trying to make up time on the 19 and the 20. I don't think he's going to make up enough to pass them on the track without them pitting, though. Waiting to find out when they will get the white flag. Harvick is back to 2 laps down again. I do believe. Downshifting for about a dozen laps. How tight the car got all of a sudden late in this race. Well, I guess that's the end. I was waiting on the white flag. We never got it. We didn't even get the white flag. What the heck's up with that? Made me think of the Hurricane from WWE back then. What's up with that? Yeah. Anyway, so 4.3 seconds off was Elliott. Honestly, give him another 2 laps. I think he was going to run Truex and Bell down, but that was not the case. And Martin Truex Jr. on fuel mileage is going to beat Chase Elliott today, as well as Bell. But Martin Truex Jr., more importantly, with the win, will advance into the next round of the playoffs. He also got a stage win, too, so 6 playoff points will carry over with Truex to the round of 12. Much like what happened to Bell last night, where he won stage 2 and won the race, Truex did the same thing today. Christopher Bell ends up finishing 2nd. What a start to the playoffs he's had. Chase Elliott 3rd. Joey Logano 4th. Austin Dillon ends up rounding out the top 5 at 5th. Eric Jones, who won stage 1, finished in 6th. Tyler Reddick 7th. Michael McDowell 8th. Bubba Wallace 9th. And Brad Keselowski rounds out the top 10. The playoff drivers who finish outside the top 10 today would be Kevin Harvick in 11th. Austin Cindric in 18th. Kyle Larson in 20th. William Byron in 21st. Justin Haley in 27th. Alex Bowman 29th. Kyle Busch 30th. That's not good for him. Eric Almirola 31st. Ross Chastain 32nd. Corey LaJoie also DNF'd today. But he was not in the playoffs. Denny Hamlin not in the playoffs. He DNF'd. Todd Gillen DNF'd. Ty Dillon DNF'd. Kurt Busch, Harrison Burton both DNF'd, as well as Ryan Blaney. Blaney in the playoffs also. He'll only get 1 point. So we had quite a few DNFs today. I didn't really realize that until just now. Not sure when exactly in the race they DNF'd. I know Blaney got stage points earlier. He's having a good day to start. That's going to hurt him. Honestly, a lot of the drivers around the cutoff line were the ones that ended up DNFing, like Almirola, Busch, Blaney. Bowman didn't have a great day. He DNF'd. Haley back portion of the field, 4 laps down. That was strange. 12 cars failed to finish the race today. And we ended up finishing 2 laps down. We were the last car 2 laps down. Everybody from 4th on back finished 2 laps down. Only 3 cars finished on the lead lap today. Again, MTJ, Martin Truex Jr., going to get the win here tonight. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Once again, I will see you guys tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be racing NASCAR 22 at Bristol. It'll be the round of 16 elimination race. First look at Concrete Bristol on the season update of NASCAR 21 Ignition. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night, everybody. See you guys tomorrow.